What happens if your homeowners association board fails to plan ahead? And what happens if they do plan ahead? This is something every board member and homeowner should know. From our body of experience here at Association Reserves, we can tell you what happens when the board is unprepared or if they do prepare. Let's start out with the question, what happens if you're not prepared? And I think of this illustration of Alfred E. Neuman. He's the mascot and cover boy of the old Mad magazine. His famous phrase was, "What, me worry?" And it's actually very silly to not prepare and walk foolishly forward. This is the iconic image of someone that is just going to blunder and recklessly move forward. So let's talk about the D's. This is what happens with lack of preparation. Higher costs due to deferred maintenance. That's when a small project becomes big. Instead of just painting something, you now have to replace the wood, weld in new portions of your ironwork fence. Disruption of finances, it's special assessments, declining property values due to it not being the shining star of the community. Owner distrust of board and manager, that's just because they're starting to realize that the flight crew's not doing a good job on this flight. They're not taking good care of us. And discouragement and disappointment that they may have realized that I'm not in a good association, and danger of litigation. A lot of bad D's happen when the board is not prepared and the association is not prepared because of that. So let's talk about costs here. What's the reality? The reality is, let's talk about a $250,000 roof. If you wait till the last minute and do a special assessment, you're going to have to collect 250 grand. Even with about 1% interest earning on your contributions, if you collect reserve contributions over time, I'm kind of going backwards in time here naturally, you only need to collect about 232,000 from the members because the bank's going to be giving interest. They're contributing to your reserve fund. It's a wonderful thing. So you can pay for a $250,000 roof with only $232,000 of your own money. On the other hand, if you wait till the last minute and ask the bank for a loan, they're going to charge you interest. So in addition to the $250,000 principal, you're going to be paying the bank about 70 grand in interest over the years. And that gets real expensive. Let me show you what that looks like. That cost here, it's about $88,000 between what you could have asked your homeowners to contribute for that roof and what, with a loan, it will actually cost your homeowners to contribute. That's about a 1/3 swing. About 89 grand or $88,000 is about 1/3 of the total cost of the roof. Board members have that much power. So if they want to minimize reserve contributions, the way to do it is to act, to move forward and make the scheduled contributions. That's what's in the best interest of the association. Okay, more on special assessments. Why is that a bad thing? They're disruptive. They are inherently unfair, placing an expense of, let's say, 20 years of roofing on the shoulders of just the people who were there. They're avoidable. You can see those mountains in advance. Actually, you may not, but others can. They're totally avoidable. Special assessments, it's not certain that they'll pass. You have to ask the membership to buy into it. And that's hard when they are naturally now distrusting the board and leadership. How should we trust you with the association? You're clearly mismanaging things here. And it lowers property values because real estate agents know. They can see, they know the pulse of the association, they know what's going on at the association. More on loans here. They're expensive, as I mentioned, not certain you'll qualify. Qualification and funding takes valuable time while your roof is leaking, while your asphalt's falling apart. And then you've basically invited a banker oversight on your budget. And that's to ensure the positive cash flow they need to get paid. And they're going to say, you need to raise your assessments. And you're going to say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and realize that, darn it, if I would have said that and done that 5 years ago, I wouldn't be paying them all this money in interest. And it does complicate the sales transactions and closing. Who's paid, who hasn't, how much they owe. It gets complicated. It gets messy. So let me leave you with this cartoon. It's another reminder of very real consequences. Our portfolio managers in the audience Those listening here know one or more associations like this, and some of you board members and homeowners listening are shouldered with the challenge of living in an association like this. They are very real challenges. Knowing the challenges, how do we prepare? How do you prepare? Well, the way you prepare is by making adequate reserve contributions. As I said, that is the least expensive way to fund a reserve project. And then revisit and update your reserve study. Basically look at what's happening in the future. Take advantage of, in this airplane in the sky, the air traffic control that is telling you how big those mountains are, and listen to your trusted advisors to help you get successfully to the future. So now, why do we prepare? Well, that deterioration is real. The mountains are there. The approach to that mountains is very fast. If you don't like the word deterioration, if you come from an accounting background, depreciation is kind of the same thing. It's an expense that needs to be offset, or the asset declines in value. Boy, doesn't that sound like a community association? So why do we prepare? Well, we offset that very real expense and we pay that ongoing deterioration bill. We spread it out over the years, so care for the ongoing deterioration is built right into the budget. It's part of the process of taking the trip. And that leads me to what we all understand. If you're a member of a health club, like a big YMCA here, asphalt, building, tennis courts, walking trails, you expect that maintenance and future replacement of all the assets are built into the membership fee, as it should be. You have zero expectation that you're going to become a monthly member of the association and they're going to hit you up for a special assessment for resurfacing the tennis courts, because that's so predictable. And the same thing for rental cars or hotels. Maintenance and future replacement of all components is built in to that rental fee, as it should be. There's no, when I rent a car, I have zero expectation that they're going to say, Mr. Nordland, make sure you are careful out there. It's a rainy day. The tires don't have much tread, and we're actually counting on you stopping by and getting 4 new tires before you turn it in tomorrow. I'm going to say you're crazy. The maintenance and future replacement costs should be built into the ongoing fee. That's what happens here. There's good things that happens when you are prepared. We did a study back in 2017 about the benefit of planning ahead and being prepared. So we looked at about 100 different associations. All of them had reserve studies. And we looked at the actual sales cost of different units in those condominium associations. We compared and plotted the dollar per square foot of the home sales. And so on a per square foot basis, what we found was striking. Dollars per square foot was significantly higher in the associations that were well funded. And that's because curb appeal is very real. There is a big difference here between the dollar per square foot value of a home that's in a well-funded association and one that's not. That should now make it pretty clear what happens when a board doesn't prepare, how they should prepare, and some of the benefits of preparing. And for condo associations, I'm comfortable saying that reserve contributions pay for themselves in terms of higher home values. They're not really a cost at all. When you build in the ongoing cost of deterioration into the budget, the association moves forward smoothly to the future. If you have any follow-up questions on this material, please ask them in the comments below or contact us directly through our website. There you can get a reserve study proposal for your association or find other helpful resources in our articles and other recorded webinar material. Let's plan for your best future.